last week, Kamala Harris did an interview with CNN's Dana Bash, and she was sitting down with her vice presidential candidate, Tim Walz, and they had an interview. And there was one question that she was asked during that interview. So let's roll the clip of the question, and then we'll discuss.
About your opponent, Donald Trump. I was a little bit surprised. People might be surprised to hear that you have never interacted with him, met him face to face. That's going to change soon. But what I want to ask you about is what he said last month. He suggested that you happened to turn black recently for political purposes, questioning a core part of your identity.
Yeah.
Any?
Same old tired playbook. Next question, please.
That's it?
That's it.
Now, she received some criticism on the right from people about that answer, but that answer about as perfect as you can get. She's not going to get sucked into the clown show that Donald Trump and the MAGAverse want you to get sucked into. They were and have been desperate to try to shape Kamala Harris's whole campaign, and they are ignoring every bit of it, and it is driving MAGA and Donald Trump and Donald Trump's people insane because she's not falling for it. They don't understand. She is head and shoulders above this man on an intellectual basis. There's absolutely no question she is much smarter. She's more constructed. She knows how to run this campaign. And so far, the campaign that she has run has been near flawless. But part of that, too, which is really annoying, is that, the media, too, is going to try to suck Kamala Harris into what Donald Trump wants Kamala Harris to answer and what they want her to be. And they want to do this because they want to see the fight. They want to see the words back and forth. She's obviously not going to give it to them. But there was one gentleman, his name is Jack Hutton, and he was talking about the differences between when Kamala Harris is being interviewed and when she's talked about, as opposed to Donald Trump when he's being interviewed, and the differences between the standards of the two and how the media is treating both of them. And I found this clip the other day, and it was just a great just a great statement on the differences between the two. Well, before I get to this, let's welcome Lana Quest. Lana, how are you?
It's sweaty.
You didn't put your microphone. Oh, there it is.
Sorry. I'm here.
There you go.
I'm here. Hi, everyone.
How was Labor Day weekend?
Let's see. Sorry.
Just got done with the workout, didn't you?
Yeah, it's sweaty, and I haven't showered. I'm like, let's go.
Just ran and gone.
Labor Day was good.
Good.
Yesterday, right? With the family, celebrated back to school for the kids, because it's a big deal when kids are going to college.
Sure.
Little cousin going to freshman year college, then my daughter's going to dental hygiene school, and then there's another one that's in her last year, and then now the kids in high school. So yay team. What did you do?
I went to the University of Miami Hurricanes versus Florida Gators football game, and it worked out extremely well for me. And it was awesome. I loved it. I had a great time. So, and I had a very busy weekend, but we were here at the show, and what I was basically talking about before you jumped on, I played a clip of the interview with Dana Bash last week with Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. And I just played the one quick clip of the question that she was asked about Donald Trump bringing up whether or not she was black, and her response to that answer or to that question, to me, was perfect. Not getting sucked into the bullshit that Donald Trump and that campaign and even the media, as I was saying, wants her to get sucked into. So did you see the interview? And I know you did, because we discussed it a little bit, but what were your thoughts, and any thoughts on the question that she is asked and what she's trying to get suckered into?
I didn't watch the whole thing, like more of just like a lot of the clips because I mean, why? I don't know. We know who she is. Like, did we expect her to mess up an interview? And also, that question is stupid and shame on any media person. I don't care how popular you are, asking that stupid question over and over again, like just to goad her. Like that's the disrespectful thing at this point. Like, because you already know it's a dumb thing for him to say, but for you to entertain it and then ask the vice president of the United States to answer a question from a racist felon, like the shame on you, Dana Bash. I don't care what kind of book you have out. Like that's ridiculous. Like that the whole interview is trash to me at that point.
Yeah, well, that's basically what it turned into. Is it kind of was shaped like what questions can we ask so the
Right,
right-wing propaganda media
right,
won't get mad at us that we didn't
right,
ask their
right,
questions?
right.
And it's just like, guys, you guys are a news organization. In fact, you're the organization that started this whole 24/7,
Right,
news thing. And
right.
now you're acting like you are the junior league of journalism. And it's like, ask what you want. Don't ask what you think Trump wants you to ask or the right-wing media
Right,
wants you to ask
right.
so you don't get in trouble by them.
It's bizarre. Like, meanwhile, Trump rambles at every speech. He's getting worse by the day. No one's talking about the $10 million from Egypt. No one's mentioned his name all over the Epstein documents. Like, what the flip? Are we going to talk about those two people he pardoned who are like beating up their wives? Is that going to be discussed at some point? Like, well, what are we doing right now? Like
Well,
same
it's
shit.
funny you brought up, how he rambles. I was just getting ready to play the clip right before you came on. There's a
Segue.
gentleman, yes, you're the segue queen. A gentleman named Jack Hutton put together. He was talking about the differences between what Kamala's asked and what Trump has asked, and how they react towards both of them. And this was really good, and I think you'll enjoy this if you haven't seen it.
Plainly a double standard that we have in this campaign. We're sitting here parsing, as we should, what the Democratic nominee for president says in an interview, how she answers questions about a whole range of subjects. Meanwhile, this is what Donald Trump had to say this week.
Groceries, food has gone up at levels that nobody's ever seen before. We've never seen anything like it, 50, 60, 70%. You take a look at bacon and some of these products, and some people don't eat bacon anymore. And we are going to get the energy prices down. When we get energy down, this was caused by their horrible energy wind. They want wind all over the place. But when it doesn't blow, we have a little problem.
Here's the thing. I'll make this observation. I'll own it. If Kamala Harris went from bacon to wind in her interview with Dana Bash, she would this morning not be, the next morning, she would not be the nominee of the Democratic Party.
Right.
That would have been a very, very strange. People would have been like, what is going on? Do we just have an absurdly low standard now for the things that Donald Trump says and does?
Yeah, I mean, that was just like perfectly put. It's, it is this double standard that this guy goes around and rambles. I mean, he started talking about food, then he went into energy, then he went into wind and bacon and just all over the place. And nobody calls this out. They just act like it is normal.
Wow. Yeah, didn't we? I don't know if you have the clip of him talking about his professor friends saying how he doesn't ramble. Like what I do is it's genius.
Oh no, I've got that. It's coming up. Yeah, that'll come up in a segment that we call the weave. Because that I think is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
Yep. So, I mean, it is insane. But Lana, so we're talking about the double standard, and we're talking about the absurdly ridiculous questions that this administration or this potential administration is going to get. Peter Ducey, who works for Fox News, was at the press briefing today and asked this absurdly ridiculous question. First of all, let's set it up, because there's this idea that Kamala Harris, when she goes from different rallies or she goes and speaks to different people, that she changes her tone, she changes the way she speaks based on who it is that she's talking to. And then this is what Peter Ducey had the nerve to ask the press secretary.
Since when does the vice president have what sounds like a southern accent?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well,
I mean, this is.
she was talking about unions in Detroit using one tone of voice.
Is this something that you
Same
think?
line
Okay, Peter.
that she used the same line in Pittsburgh, and it sounded like she at least had some kind of a southern drawl.
I mean,
What?
do you hear the question that you're? I mean, do you think Americans seriously think that this is an important question? They care. You know what they care about? They care about the economy. They care about lowering costs. They care about health care. That's what Americans care about.
So
That's what they want to hear.
This is something.
They care about. Your colleague just asked me about what basically we talked about, went back and forth about democracy and freedom. That's what they care
I
about. I'm
agree.
not even going to entertain some question about the press. It's just hearing it sounds so ridiculous.
Well, but hearing it is
The question I'm talking about, the questions is just insane.
Girl,
that how
say
she
it's
talks
dumb.
in meetings. here?
I'm just Peter. We're moving on.
Yeah, move on is exactly what you should do. And in fact, she probably even gave him too much
You
time
gave
there.
him too much.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I would have been like, just like Kamala said, next question. The minute he asked that, she should have said next question, because he's not there for an answer.
No, it's a clown show. You know, again, we're treating these press conferences like it's Jerry Springer. I don't know. I grew up listening to Howard Stern, and Howard Stern used to send this guy out named John the Stutterer, and he would go to these press conferences, but they were like celebrities he would go to. And he would set them up there to ask them these incredibly insane, ridiculous questions, you know. So, but this is now, it's switched into the politics part of it. This is not a serious question. That is not a serious network, obviously. It's a network that had to pay out $787.5 million for lying.
Why are they allowed there if they are saying that they are not a news network? Like, you get to be there if you're not a news network? Can anyone be there?
Yeah, I mean, you know, because there's so many different outlets nowadays that they do let in different ones that you would not have seen before in the past. But, you know, again, it's the Fox News. And then what happens, though, Lana, is if they were to say Fox News is no longer allowed here, what does that look like? You know, and then
I don't know. They need to stop caring. Like, you're caring about the wrong things. Like, who gives a fuck about Donald Trump, and who cares about Fox News, and who cares what they think? He has maybe they'll act right. Like, maybe they will act right if we literally just stop giving them a piece of the pie and stop acting like they can act like normal human beings, because apparently they can't let this guy is sitting there smug, like he didn't even want an answer. He just likes to hear her like babble on, and maybe she'll make a mistake. Like, he didn't care. He's just like,
Yep.
It's I don't know. It's disgusting. Like, it's frustrating too.
Yeah, I think maybe the good news is that you know, because for so long the right-wing propaganda has dominated. I mean, just absolutely dominated the media. This campaign, the Harris-Walz campaign, they have probably done the best job of now starting to turn these clowns on their heads.
Right.
You know, because back before this, too many people were taking these people too seriously.
Right.
Now they're not even taking them seriously.
Right.
And now people are starting to see, you know, these people maybe they are as weird as they're saying, and why should we start to take them seriously? So
she probably should have said that. She probably should have said, "That's a weird question." And
no question.
Next. Matter of fact, his peers should have just been like, "Boo!"
Yeah.
Like, seriously, because honestly, they're not even holding one another accountable.
That is exactly right. I agree with you. They should have been. And I actually, it's funny you say that because when I heard him say it, my first reaction was like, oh, I hope I hear somebody go, oh,
Yeah,
Peter, what are you
exactly. But
doing?
none of them did.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
probably eye rolled, but like, why didn't they say anything? You're his peer.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is you remember when Trump first got on the scene and he would yell at a lot of the reporters, some of the other reporters would step up and say, "Oh, it's my turn. Okay, what you just did to my colleague was kind of bullshit." You know,
Right.
so they would do that a little bit back then, but now again, too many things have become such commonplace and it's become too accepted that people are just like, "Oh, that's old Peter Ducey being goofy again." And it's just like,
Right now.
yeah, and I hope we only have a couple months left of this. Again, will this completely ever all go away? No, but once Donald Trump is gone, then you're going to have people in that party that are going to breathe a sigh of relief, knowing
Right.
that they can get up off their knees at some
Right.
point and
Right.
say, I don't have to bow down to this anymore. I don't have to praise this orange Cheeto as the greatest savior, even though I know he's so incredibly stupid and everything that comes out of his mouth is embarrassing. But
Right.
if I say anything against it, then I might be ostracized from this whole thing. And I don't want to do that.